Welcome back, everybody. This is Pick and Roll, the NBA betting show live on the Board YouTube channel. We go live every weekday morning when there are NBA games to bet on and provide you with free picks to tail. And Pips rocking the data over feeling shirt today. We use Pips's data to go through some best bets for you guys to tail for these NBA games. Lots of games today, 14 games on the board today. So we are excited to start talking about these. But before we do that, smash that like button if you've been tailing the picks in the show. If you have been enjoying the content that we've been putting out, it does make a massive difference to us as we look to grow the channel and find more people to enter into this community. We've had, I think, over 100 likes now, 3 straight episodes. Amazing stuff. We want to keep that great momentum going. Today, we have 3 bets coming at you guys from 3 different books. We are going to be going with DraftKings, BetMGM, and we are going to be going with either ESPN Bet or 365. We recognize not everybody has access to ESPN Bet. If you don't, you should have access to Bet 365. So one or the other, we'll talk about both of the bets. They're very similar, but we will go through them and you can make your decision. All right, let's go to the first bet that we have here as I just make sure that, of course, we have the numbers in place on each of the books. And final confirmation, we are indeed good to go. All right, first play, Bulls Thunder game. We're going to a bit of a favorite on the show, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We're going to take him under points and over assists, just as we did last week, but we're going to be going with 1.5 units on this one. Under 34.5 points and over 3.5 assists. That is minus 110 at BetMGM. Once again, going to reiterate that this is a 1.5 unit bet. If it's not ever mentioned, you just assume it's 1 unit. When we mention it, of course, you go with that one. Second bet that we have for today is in the Raptors and Pacers game. And if Pips didn't have this, I was going to play something like this myself. Scotty Barnes in a high-pace environment against the Indiana Pacers is going to suit his game. And we're going to take basically a different way of attacking the PRA. We're going with Scotty Barnes over 16.5 points. 5+ rebounds and over 3.5 assists. This one is now minus 105. I'm sure that's also acceptable. We had a pre-show at plus 100, but minus 105 right now at DraftKings for Scotty Barnes. Third play, this is where there's a two-parter. So if you have ESPN Bet instead of 365, you can play this minus 111 parlay. So bonus over 14.5 points, over 9.5 rebounds, and over 5.5 assists as the Kings take on the Pelicans. If you have 365, this is the preferred play. If you don't have it, go to ESPN Bet, but this one is at 365. Ignore this graphic for a second here. It's the bonus over 15.5 points, 10+ rebounds, and 5+ assists. When you go to 365 for these bets, you have to go to the milestone lines for the rebounds and the assists rather than alternate lines, which is what it would say on other platforms. All right, Pips, let's go to the banger first, the 1.5 unit play on Shai. Going back to this one after it was a loser last week, but feeling confident with this one. Tell us why.
So he wasn't loser last week. We won against the Golden State Warrior.
Did we win that play?
I thought I went first over game. Points. We bet in the first game. The second one we didn't bet it. It went to the overtime. So first one was the winner.
My mistake. Okay, going back to the well.
Going back to the winner. So yes. The thing is, the first game of the season, opening day, was the game Bulls against the Thunder. Shai scored 31 points and had 10 assists in that game. The reason why, that's just the way the Bulls defend. They are not allowing mid-range. They are not allowing drives. They are doing a bit over-helping on the nail. And now they have Caruso starting, who is probably, if you look at the defensive end, probably the best guard probably best defensive guard in the league. For sure, top 5. But is it best? There is some opinions, of course, but I think he is the best. And he's now starting, and he'll now guard Shai for like 90% of the game, which is great stuff. So he has tough personal one-on-one matchup, and they were help on drives. They like shooting, so Bulls can do that, like over helping and get away with it. So yeah, I just think driving kick game from Shai. So last season, he played twice against the Bulls, 30 and 7, 21 and 6. So under in last 3 games against the Bulls, 31 points, 30 points, 21 points, comfortable unders, 10 assists, 7 assists, and 6 assists. So last 3 games against the Bulls, covered it all 3, and now it's even better with Caruso starting and guarding him.
Okay, so makes sense. Tough matchup. Obviously, he's got great teammates around him. 3.5 assists is very low for him. 34.5 is attainable when it comes to Shai. We were kind of talking about it. I remember during the previous game, it's kind of never dead for Shai on any over for points, but certainly with this tough matchup.
Yeah, but he's unbelievable. But he scored like more 50% of his games are between 28 and 33. So this is like on the safe side.
Yeah, he's an absolute beast with his consistency, which appeals to this one because it's not like the high variance of going over on this. We take the elevated number here. That's why perhaps a bit more value for the elevation on the number for Shai because of his consistency. So makes sense there. We'll go to our second play now, and we are going to the Raptors game. I've seen in the comments that there is better price available at ESPN. So if you have ESPN bet, go play that over there. But we have minus 105 at DraftKings here for this Scotty Barnes kind of PRA sort of thing on the points.
Let me say this. Every single SGP that we have on the show, the best prices on ESPN by far, and it's not even close.
Okay.
When I can get the lines on some other bookies that are more widely available and have higher limits, I will do it. When there is no option, then I'll go to ESPN Bet. I don't want to boost my record on the show just pushing with ESPN Bet. I mean, that's like, yeah, I can have maybe one bet a show from ESPN. It's so fair for everyone else.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So
the play here, Scotty Barnes against the Pacers.
First off, he had so far 14 games this season, covered the assist line in 13. The only game he didn't cover was some terrible single coverage against Portland, where he had like 9 potential assists and 2 assists.
Yeah,
so he was
91
due
points
in that game too. Yeah, and that slow-paced game, like not even comparable with the Pacers game. He cleared rebounds also in 13 out of 14 games. The only game he didn't cover was the game against the Boston Celtics. And yeah, that's a difficult matchup for rebounds, like one of the most difficult in the entire league. So, points, let's go to the points. Didn't cover in 4 games. Twice against the Boston Celtics, best defense in the league. Third time against the Orlando Magic, best defense in the league, blowout. Also against the Boston Celtics, blowout in 1 game. So 3 times he didn't cover this. It was against the best defense in the league in a blowout. And 1 stinker game against the Dallas Mavericks where he just shot terrible. So like he covering this in like every single good matchup so far this season. Like he's like 9 out of the 10 covering this. And now he gets by far the best matchup in the league against the high-paced Indiana Pacers. Pacers. It's fun. And we saw last night 309 points in the game. So the total was
Trae Young didn't cover. I can't believe it.
The total line was the highest line since 95. So that's since over the last 28 years, the highest total line, and it goes over by 58 points, and it wasn't an overtime.
Yeah.
And we lose our bet.
And we lost to Trae Young over because he didn't get enough assists. I know.
Yeah. We'll talk about it a bit later, but this is a perfect matchup for Barnes. He should drive, so they are allowing the most free throws, they are allowing the most points, they are allowing the most everything you can possibly imagine so far. And like Scott is like, if we exclude those blowouts, Scott is averaging 22 points a game, and getting this line against the Pacers is like insane. Yeah. Like Jalen Johnson is like close to that like player Barnes' profile is like he's not nowhere on that level, but he's close to the profile of a player, like athletic wing that can pass, rebound, and do kind of stuff. He had 17, 7, and 6 last night. And Scotty Barnes like way better and more and the higher usage player, so he should be able to cover this pretty comfortable.
I'll provide some Raptors analysis here. I watch every game very in depth. The Raptors are really good when they push the pace. In the games they've struggled this season, they have just, for some reason, outright refused to push the pace. Coaching-wise, not sure. Like, Darko Rajakovic, new coach, wants to play a specific way, which isn't pace-driven, but I think in this game he'll be forced to play fast. That will appeal to the Raptors. That will appeal in particular to Scotty Barnes. When they're in full court sets, Scotty Barnes are going to be handling the ball a ton, and Scotty Barnes is the main guy. He plays with the bench unit. He's the main guy in those lineups. He's going to have the ball a ton in this game.
And also, he is amazing in transition. So
amazing.
This game will be like half the game will be transition. So
yeah,
should thrive in this.
That will everything appeals to Scotty Barnes to have a big night against the Pacers. All right, last play that we have here. So again, there's two different books that we are citing for this one. We have the -120 option at Bet365, which we think is the better option. There's also the ESPN bet option. But as Pip said, you can always find likely a better line on ESPN. We don't just want to farm the line that not everybody can get, that will maybe limit you, that maybe only a few people in chat can get. We want to make sure we're getting stuff that can be pretty widely available, but we work pretty quickly with all these plays to get them out to you guys over the course of the show. Like I get these plays, we get these plays in like maybe 5 minutes if we're lucky before the show. So always make sure you're trying to find the best price available for any of these bets. We certainly recommend playing at the prices we give, but I see people in chat talk about profit boost options, different boost options, different sports books. So always make sure you're line shopping to find the best available line for any bet you're making. We recommend, of course, as always, the odds comparison tool BetStamp for straight player props, game lines, game totals, etc. for bets, because it takes you seconds to find the best price available in market. But if you want to capitalize on these options, on these boosts that different sportsbooks offers, you need to be signed up to as many sportsbooks as you can in your region. You can use the code that we have here, or you can use the sign up QR code that we have in the top right corner of the screen, or you can use the link in the description, betstamp.app/theboard, to see what's available in your region and sign up. As always, with these line shopping tactics, you win more on your winners, you lose less on your losers, so take advantage of those. All right, let's go to this one. So the preferred option is at Bet365. This is -120. It's a bonus over 15.5 points, 10 plus rebounds, 5 plus assists. If you don't have 365 and you do have ESPN bet, this is the least preferred play if you have both, but this one's -111. You have Sabonis over 14.5 points, 9.5 rebounds, and over 5.5 assists. So it's 1 point less, but 1 assist more. But anyways, Pips, you're expecting a big night from Sabonis. Please tell us why.
We are just going back to Sabonis. We had the same bet last game. It was the same matchup. He somehow got 8 assists in that crazy blowout that they didn't score anything. He had 70 potential assists in 3 quarters. He gathered 10 rebounds in a game where Pelicans didn't miss. And I'm going back to it. I think his offensive aggression was the main reason they struggled scoring. They need him to be more aggressive. I hope he doesn't have some stupid fouls like he did in the last game. The fouls weren't in like live game action. It was like offensive rebound stuff and offensive charge stuff. So like it's not like he's having some difficult matchup on the defense. And yeah, last game covered rebounds and assists in like limited time in like worst case scenario. Worst case scenario for assists is his teammates couldn't make a shot. Worst case scenario for rebounds, the other team didn't miss a shot. He still covered both. And yeah, I just think points should come. And Jonas and Cody Zeller, like they can't stop Sabonis, and they shouldn't be able to stop Sabonis. He just needs to be more aggressive. So like 6 games prior to that game, he took 10 or more field goals in every single game, and he had games with 7 or 8 free throws. So there's no reason for him to be like 8 field goal attempts in a game against Jonas Valanciunas and Cody Zeller. But it was back-to-back game, so maybe he was okay, like maybe some tired legs or stuff. Now he's well rested and ready to go. And the Kings need to redeem themselves for this terrible loss in the last game. And I expect Sabonis to be very aggressive and cover these lines. And hopefully, like third quarter or something.
Yeah, absolutely. You liked it last game. Why not go back to this one, especially when we're getting better numbers here because of the poor game previously? If as long as the Kings keep this game competitive, we definitely have the shot here for Sabonis. Again, that's at ESPN Bet and 365. You choose which one you want to play it at, or if you have a different book available, but we prefer the minus 120 option at 365. All right, let's recap yesterday's bets as we always do. Unfortunately, the win train stopped here on the channel. We lost the VIG on the bet with a bit higher VIG. Trae Young and Tyrese Halliburton, we commented on already. Ended 157 to 152 without overtime. And Trae Young still can't get up to 10 assists in this one. If only Tyrese Halliburton had shared it. Tyrese Halliburton had 16 assists. We only needed 10 from each of them. Trae Young, I believe it was 8 assists to finish. What went on Trae Young here? What went wrong for Trae here?
So it was crazy stuff. So like I can get on a rant, but so first off, they were double teaming Trae Young in his own half. So they will double team him before he crossed the half court.
Yeah,
they're just trying to get him away from the game, and they did that on like 70% of the possessions in the game. And that's crazy. Like, why would you do that? Like, Trae Young really struggling this season with scoring, and there is no way he can create a better shot than the rest of the team can do 4 versus 3. Like, they double team him on his own side, and then Hawks play 4 against the 3. And they scored 152 points. Like, how do you think this worked? Like, this is terrible.
Pacers won.
Pacers won because Tyrese Halliburton is insane, but their defense was terrible. And they get completely, like, crazy stuff. And also, last quarter, I think Trae Young he had 8 assists. Out of these 8 assists, like 5 were dunks or open layups. So he had 17 potential assists. So the players shot 3 from 12 on Trae Young assists. Even it was a layup, even it was a wide open 3. They shot 3 from the 12. I think the only time players missed in this game was when Trae Young made a pass. Like, because every single other shot was going in. And when you see Trae Young passing, okay, this is not going in. So just it was like huge variance against us. And when you have like the best point guard that's average over 10 assists in a game with 300 and more points, I mean, you are probably like winning this 8 out of 10 times. And yeah, just unfortunate. I really love this spot. Like, if they didn't double team in the whole half court, I think he'll like be like 12 to 13 assists. But yeah,
unfortunate there. We did have a winner in the other play. We had Evan Mobley over on points and on his rebounds. We also had Maxey over on points. This one went to overtime, though I'm pretty sure we didn't need overtime. I think the whole thing had covered by the fourth quarter in this one. Shout out the Cavs. They started poorly. They're on a little bit of a run now. I think Javon in chat is a Cavs fan. So shout out Cavs, doing pretty well now after the rough start. Tell us about Mobley. Fire alarm. Talk to us about this bet.
Some games they miss Jarrett Allen, some games they miss Donovan Mitchell, some games they miss Darius Garland. Okoro is out. Like, it's tough. Like, you have like team that's top heavy, and Caris LeVert is out if I was in some games. So like every game you miss 2 of your best 5 players, and you are sitting at 50% win. So that's kind of good. Like, when they are healthy and when they get to the rolling, I think they will be amazing and probably the fourth best team in the East.
Fire test.
Amazing timing for that one. But yeah, like, it's end of a crazy winning run, but I don't think it's like we were 1-1, lost the juice on a very, very good bet. and I think like I'm okay with that. Like we were close to winning both, so on a good way to win both. So. And I think Maxi and Mobley actually covered in like by the end of the third quarter or like first possession of the fourth.
Apologies, especially to people audio form. They're doing fire alarm tests in my building, so I'll keep this short. To finish off the show, we did want to talk about the Orlando Magic. They dunked my Raptors yesterday. They absolutely blew out the Raptors yesterday, but they blew out the Pacers on Sunday. Last week they blew out the Bucks, beat the Bulls twice in that week. They're up to 9-5 on the season. Now, we were excited about the Orlando Magic being a fun team this season, not necessarily one who's winning a bunch of games. 9-5, up to 5th in the Eastern Conference, tied for 4th actually in the Eastern Conference. Do you think that this run by the Magic is sustainable for the season?
I mean, kind of. Like, not this kind of, but I think they could be above 500 team with the way they're playing. Their defense is amazing. But I'll say first one to talk, they beat Houston Rockets, Portland, Utah Jazz, Lakers, Bucks without Lillard, Bulls twice, Pacers, and Raptors. So like they didn't beat any like great team, and they lost to the Nets, Hawks, Dallas, Lakers, Clippers. So like they are not beating like great teams. They beat everything like mid-range stuff team, like the ones that are like in playing range or below. So yeah, that's the part. But also they miss Wendell Carter Jr., who is great player for them. And I think their bench is great. Like they're winning most of the games. If you have a plus minus on the bench, it's always positive. Like almost every game, they have Cole Anthony, Gary Harris, Mo Wagner, Joe Ingles, Jonathan Isaac, and they probably have some like when Wendell Carter returns, they'll have him there. Goga Bitadze is playing way above his means on defense. Jalen Sachs is amazing. Banchero is amazing. Franz Wagner is even having a like very poor start to a season. Like efficiency wise, they still win. So yeah, I'm just concerned with Fultz being back, how the offense will look. But so far, great winning with defense. We all love to see teams winning with defense and enjoying to watch this young team that hustles every night.
All right, gonna keep this as quick as possible while I have an interval between the fire alarm tests, but we're about to go through the recap of the 3 bets. Remember to smash that like button if you have enjoyed. Let's try to make it another episode where we get to 100 likes and we can go into the NBA day off tomorrow for American Thanksgiving. Let's go into that day off and celebrate, hopefully, some winning plays and more success on the channel. More likes means I can move out of an apartment and get a house, and I don't have to go through fire alarm tests just like this. All right, guys, 3 plays today. Bulls at Thunder, first of all, 1.5 units. Shea under 34.5 points, over 3.5 assists. Second play, we're going to Scotty Barnes. Happy Scotty Barnes Day to all those who celebrate. I certainly celebrate. I'm excited for this one. Minus 105 at DraftKings. Scotty Barnes over 16.5 points, 5+ rebounds, and over 3.5 assists. And in the final play, Kings at Pelicans. We have the 2 different versions of it. Minus 111 at ESPN. Bet has Sabonis over 14.5 points, over 9.5 rebounds, over 5.5 assists. The preferred option is at Bet365, minus 120 odds, over 15.5 points, 10+ rebounds, 5 assists. Alarm's going off again. Thank you, everybody. Pips, sign us off, please.
Let's have a great day. Like we need to only 2 and 1. Let's win 1.5 unit and Scotty Barnes and Sabonis 3-0, and we are good. Let's see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for watching and subscribe.
Not tomorrow, like, Friday.
And yeah, we don't have any NBA games tomorrow, so we'll see you on Friday. And remember, big SGP coming on Friday. And see ya.